Quinn forms an unlikely alliance with Layla, but Vorden isn't pleased by it. How far will he go to protect Quinn? And will his obsession with Quinn lead to a violent confrontation with those who dare to get close to him, including Layla? What new challenges await Quinn as he struggles to satiate his growing hunger for blood and the consequences that come with it?
Peter was currently running around the school looking for Quinn or Vorden. For some reason, both of his new friends had suddenly started acting very strange, and Peter didn't know what to do about it. For the first time ever, he had made friends that protected him. Quinn, even though he was a low level himself, had stood up for Peter and Vorden, who had not only protected him, but helped him learn his new ability. Although Peter had no clue what was going on with Quinn, he had some idea about what had changed Vorden. It was after whatever had happened at the assembly hall with the second-year students. But no matter who he would talk to about it, not one person would give him an answer. Some even began to threaten him. That's when Peter could hear a familiar voice. While walking down the hallway, Peter could hear someone speaking, a voice he recognized. As he turned the corner, he saw that it was indeed Vorden. Vorden stood there staring idly at the ground. Peter quickly hid back around the hallway corner. So far, whenever Peter had spotted Vorden, he would just ignore him and walk away without even speaking to him. But now it sounded like Vorden was speaking to someone else. "Would you two calm down?" Vorden said. There was then a brief pause before Vorden spoke again. "I don't care if he hurt the little one's feelings. It's not like Quinn isn't allowed to talk to other people." Again, there was a slight pause. "Look, if you get involved and hurt them, I won't forgive you. I won't let something like last time happen again." The whole time Peter was listening into the conversation, the only voice he could hear was Vorden's, but it was clear that he was speaking to someone. Peter couldn't take it anymore and decided to take a peek, and as he did, still the only person he could see was Vorden. Did the other person leave already? Peter thought. Just then he saw Vorden start to walk off. The bell had rung, indicating that it was the end of their lunch break and it was time to head to afternoon classes. That's when the library doors opened, and Quinn and Layla appeared out walking together. "Quinn!" Peter said as he waved him over. "I'll meet you at the front gate tonight once classes are over," Quinn said to Layla before leaving to join Peter. "I'm glad you're okay. Look, I'm really worried about Vorden. Ever since he came back from that assembly hall, he's been acting strange." "Don't worry, we'll find out what's going on together." When they entered their next class, they could see that Vorden was already in his seat, sitting down, ready even before them. "Oh, hey guys, how are you doing? Hey, are you feeling better? Earlier it seemed like you were kinda sulking." "Yeah, don't worry. I just kinda got thrown around a bit by the second year and it got me pretty down." "What happened at the assembly hall?" Vorden's face slightly changed. It was as if he was trying to hold something back. Vorden clenched his fists for a few seconds and finally relaxed his hands. "Guys, don't worry about it too much. You know I'm strong and know I can handle myself." Although Peter was quite satisfied now with Vorden, as he seemed to be his regular self, Quinn noticed that Vorden seemed to be holding something back, almost suppressing something when he asked that question. As the students sat down, the talks continued, and several different words could be heard. Monster, freak, weirdo, crazy, and all these words were being aimed at Vorden. After hearing these words, Quinn noticed that Vorden stayed there motionless with his head down. He hadn't even written any notes down in his notebook about the lesson. Although it seemed like no one would tell him or Peter what had happened, Quinn now had another ally that might be able to help him, and that was Layla. At the end of the class, the teacher Dell projected a screen in front of the whole class. There was a list of names, each sorted into a different category. "Please look at this carefully and see where your name is, as tomorrow will be the start of your combat classes." The list was split up into several different categories. Each one was different depending on what type of ability you had. Elemental abilities, transformation abilities, enhancement abilities, and so on. That's when Quinn also noticed that his and a few other names were not on the list, including Vorden's. If your name is not on the list, it's because either your ability doesn't fall into one of the categories, or you are an original with a unique ability. You are free to choose to go to whichever class you believe suits you. Students are also able to switch between combat classes if they wish. These are not set in stone, but the school's recommendation based on your ability. I wonder what combat class would be best for me. Peter was pleased that it seemed like the group had gotten back normal again. There was no tension between the three of them, and Peter wished it would stay that way forever. Just then, when Quinn had left, Vorden and Peter were left in the room. That's when Vorden asked Peter a question. "Hey, have you seen Quinn hanging around with a girl lately? Come to think of it, I saw him exit with a girl at the library. It was the same one who was at the test with us that day, with the bow and arrow." After Peter had given an answer, for a split second, Peter felt like he saw the expression on Vorden's face change. Maybe he's gone and got himself a little girlfriend. Quinn had, of course, decided to ditch the other two because he had already made plans to meet up with Layla beforehand. The two of them were to meet at the school gate. But before the two of them were to meet, Quinn decided to stop by the science lab. Although most lessons in military school were about combat or how to use technology, science was still a core subject. But Quinn wasn't looking for anything too fancy. All he needed was some test tubes and small corks. After searching around the room for a while, he found where they kept the test tubes. He took a total of 5. Even though there were many there, if he took too much it would be suspicious, and Quinn couldn't carry more than 5 without having to worry about them breaking or not. Quinn currently had a total of 60 of 200 EXP until his next level up. 50 experience points had carried over from the last quest, and he had received 10 EXP from his 2 daily quests. So far, with each level up, he would gain 1 additional stat point and 5 points of HP. Although Quinn had gotten stronger through this, it wasn't the fastest way for him to improve his strength. Quinn realized the system had offered him the chance to gain an additional stat point 2 times as long as he drank his victim's blood, but when he drank Layla's blood, he still gained a stat point. This was what Quinn wanted to test out today. As planned, Layla was standing there waiting for him by the gate, with her bow on her back. After the two of them met, they decided to walk to the nearby park that was in between the convenience store and the school. Then they ventured away from the trail into the woods, where they were behind cover. No one ventured in these parts, and it was hard for them to be seen. "So, are we going to do this?" Layla asked excitedly. Quinn still found it weird, then rather than being scared by the whole situation, Layla was excited. "All right, close your eyes," said Quinn. Layla closed her eyes and was ready. She could still remember the satisfying feeling from the last time and couldn't wait to feel it again. Layla felt a small prick in her arm. Layla opened her eyes and noticed that a needle was there. "What? You didn't think I was going to bite you, did you?" Layla's cheeks suddenly went bright red. If it wasn't for the needle in her hand, she would have tried kicking Quinn away. Once the syringe had been filled up, Quinn squirted it out into one of the test tubes he brought with him. "Is it okay if I fill another one?" Quinn asked. Layla didn't say anything and held out her arm. She was still a bit embarrassed about what had happened earlier. Once Quinn had filled up 2 test tubes, he put one of the blood-filled tubes in his bag while holding the other. "Inspect. Blood of Layla Monroe. Blood type A positive." Quinn then looked at Layla and used his inspect skill once again. "Name, Layla Monroe. Race, human. Ability, telekinesis. HP, 12 of 12. Blood type A positive." It was as Quinn thought. When using the inspect skill on the blood, it only showed him what blood type it was and who it was from, just like the time at the assembly hall. But if the person was in front of him, it would reveal their ability, HP, and blood type. Some of the blood marks in the hall only revealed question marks, assuming that Quinn either had to have run into the person before or used the inspect skill on the person once before. Quinn looked at the test tube and gulped. He then pulled out the cork at the top and started sniffing the blood. "You're not going to drink it right here, are you?" "Why not? I need to know if it will make any changes." "I don't know, it feels kind of embarrassing. I can't explain." Quinn ignored Layla and looked at the blood again. The fragrance smelled quite sweet, which was different from how he remembered it before. Then suddenly, Quinn lifted the tube and drank the blood in one gulp. As the blood ran down his throat, he felt a warm tingling sensation through his body. The blood was also surprisingly sweet rather than metallic. It seemed like the race change had also changed his taste buds and sense of smell. "Your HP is already full. The blood will have no effect. Blood from this person has already been consumed. No stat points will be given." Quinn was surprised to see at the information he had been given. The blood last time seemed to have a healing effect on his body. Judging by the message, if Quinn was injured, Layla's blood would allow him to regain HP. But the second message is what interested him more. The system stated because he had already consumed this blood before, that no stats would be given. This meant that as long as it was the blood of someone he hadn't drunk before, he would be able to get an extra stat point. Quinn smiled at the thought. Of course, this was only a theory of his, but Quinn wanted to test it out straight away. I guess whatever you wanted to test outworked, judging by your creepy smile and all. If only there was someone else's blood I could test this on. Just then the sound of two people entering the woods from the playground was heard. Quinn and Layla immediately ducked down and hid behind a tree. That's when they saw two students starting to walk into the forest. Now hand over your credits, otherwise I'll dig you your grave right here, and no one will ever find your body, a boy's voice said. Quinn immediately recognized the voice. It was Rylee. It looked like he still hadn't learnt his lesson and was still up to his old tricks. Quinn then went into his bag and took out the mask he had bought at the convenience store. Last time he had let Rylee go without taking any of his blood, and now he felt like it was such a waste. But this time, Quinn wouldn't let Rylee go. As Quinn put on his mask, he moved in closer to where Rylee and the student were, making sure to move in and out between the trees. Hey, do you want a beating? Pass over the credits now, Rylee said, holding up the student against the tree. But I only get 10 credits a day. They're mine. This isn't fair. Since when has this world ever been fair? Blame the people at the top for not looking out for us. As Quinn heard those words, he realized that Rylee was in the same position as him. He was only a level 2 user and was just part of the weak bunch being pushed around by those above, but that didn't mean he could do it to others. That would fix nothing. Layla followed Quinn closely and had taken out her bow and arrow. She knew from last time if Quinn had put on the mask, he was going to act. Do you want me to help out? It will be easier with the two of us. It's okay, there's something I wanted to test out. The last time the two of them had fought, Quinn was only a level 1. Now he was a level 2, and he also had obtained a new skill which he wanted to test, and Rylee was a great test subject. Quinn started to move closer and closer. He was hoping to finish off Rylee in one shot, and this was the perfect chance while his back was turned. Finally, Quinn was just about in striking distance. That's when the student held up against the tree and spotted Quinn. Please help me, the student cried. You idiot! Quinn shouted as he leapt forward, hoping he could be quick enough to hit Rylee before he could activate his ability. The student's warning had given Rylee enough time to activate his ability and turn around. However, Quinn's fist was fast, and even though Rylee put out his hands to stop the attack, Quinn's fist still managed to hit Rylee in the stomach. The impact was just like last time. It was solid and felt like he was punching a wall, but the blow managed to still hurt Rylee a bit. The attack was slightly stronger, and this time Quinn's fist hadn't broken. I've been waiting for you, Rylee said as he put 2 fingers in his mouth and whistled. Just then, 2 students came running in from the park and into the forest. You think you can take on 3 of us? Quinn looked at the 2 students running towards them, and that's when an arrow came flying from the woods and hit one of them in the knee, causing the student to instantly fall to the ground. The other students went down to his friend. What happened? The student said. Then he noticed an arrow in the student's leg. Where did this come from? Quinn saw this as an opportunity and dashed away from Rylee and started heading towards the other student. The skill said 5 meters, right? Well, show me what you got. As soon as Quinn was within 5 meters, he activated his skill Blood Swipe, at the same time swinging his hand across. A red line of power came surging out of Quinn's fingertips and hit the student right on the chest, causing a claw-like mark, but it wasn't enough to knock him out. Blood Swipe, Blood Swipe, Blood Swipe! Quinn then cast 3 more Blood Swipes, swinging his arm out. Each blow managed to hit the student dead on, with multiple marks across his chest. He had finally collapsed to the floor. HP 11 of 15. An opponent has been defeated. 50 EXP granted. 110 of 200 EXP. Blood Swipe had no cooldown, but did use 1 point of HP per swipe. As long as Quinn had HP, he could continuously cast out his Blood Swipe skill. Rylee, seeing his 2 teammates who were of equal power level to himself be defeated in an instant, started to feel scared. His body was shaking, and all he wanted to do was get out of there. He turned away from his friends and started running deeper into the forest. Quinn's speed was greater, though, and was easily able to catch up. When his attack was in range, Quinn cast 2 more Blood Swipes aiming for the back of Rylee's ankles. As they hit, Rylee fell to the ground. Please don't hurt me, I'll do anything. Oh, really? Quinn then placed his watch up against Rylee's. Hand over all your credits. But if I do, I won't have enough credits for Dan. He'll kill me. Is now really the time to worry about Dan? Rylee quickly transferred over 50 credits that he had obtained that day over to Quinn. So, will you let me go now? Just then, Rylee could see a sinister smile appear on Quinn's face through the bottom of his mask. No, Quinn said. He then went up behind Rylee and held him in a choking position.
Will Quinn's taste for Rylee's blood be his downfall, or will it unlock a new level of power? Will the military turn a blind eye to Quinn's actions, or will they finally take notice of the masked vigilante in their midst? Find out in the next episode.
Subscribe to the Pocket FM Blockbuster YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notifications. Check out our channel for more exciting shows.